party, getting ready. And here we go. Hello, everybody. This is Aggro. Well, actually, this is, the town hall for Splinterlands. But the voice that's narrating it currently is Aggro. I'm the founder and CEO. Glad to be here. Been in cryptocurrency since 2016 and been doing this whole Splinterlands thing since about 2018. Going in, like trying to get like 5 years in. That's like worth a dagger or maybe like a sword or a shield or an axe. Like I'm getting to the time where you would expect some weapons of war that are part of like that medieval magical world to start appearing on my walls. I mean, there is like a little bit of a Yoden Zaku on my mantle there, so I have like a little bit of a weapon of war, but it's not the same thing as like a giant katana. So that's what's on my brain these days. Anyways, we're gonna go and like introduce a whole bunch of people here. We have a pretty standard crew. Not everybody. We're missing ourselves to chatter. We miss our marketing guy. He's 6 foot tall. He's hard to miss, but we'll miss him anyways. Today I'm going to be joined from the development side of things by the one, the only, the fantastic Hardpoint. On the community side of things, we get Bulldog and WeirdBeard, and it is a gift, a pleasure, a joy to be able to go talk again with Nate from the creative department of Splinterlands to go see all of the awesome things that we are producing, making, and working on. We have maybe about 100 people here listening with us, so that's pretty exciting. And then there should still be something like 1,000 people watching these, maybe more, just as they stream and people get to view them. So thanks for your time, thanks for your attention. To the guys that are in the chat, I'm going to try to drop a couple shout outs today. I don't always do this, but Stever82, thanks for being here. Hold My Cards, Cyberblock, you guys are great. It makes all the difference in the world to go see like our hardcore fandom just show up and listen to us and interact with us and tell us what you want. So here we go, guys. Let's see. Why don't we start off with Hardpoint and just I know that we talked a little bit about development last week, but there's a whole bunch of different people here. Like I don't know, was Commander Chaos here last week? Was Kyle here yesterday? Was PJH Stable here last week? I don't actually know. So let's go answer some questions, not just from like the general audience yet, but I mean like, people are wondering, what are we building? How long is it going to take to get there? What are we doing? And what's it going to look like? So, I don't know, Hardpoint, you want to introduce yourselves and just tell us, what's going on in development?
Absolutely. Thanks, Aggie. I'm Hardpoint and, here the CTO. I just read roadmaps all day long. So that's what I'm here to do. Tell you guys when we're getting stuff. That's all I do, and it's fun. We get to talk about that. So let's talk about roadmaps. If you guys have never been to our roadmap, I'm dropped a link into our Discord chat. We have one. It's an older image still, but I'm just dropping in here so you guys can see it, so we can talk to it. So right now, we're trending towards one of the things that's real interesting coming up is our ranked rewards updates that we're working on, and towards the end of the month, we're hoping to target very near to the end of August the release of SPS ranked rewards. And that is going to be where we're switching over from DEC to SPS ranked rewards. SPS. So no longer will DEC come out when you guys open your chests. You're going to get SPS, and it's going to come in the form of staked SPS, not just liquid SPS. So that will be staked in your account. You will start earning interest on it as soon as it gets awarded to your account. We're really excited about that. So it's a big project. We're also introducing along with that in tandem is that you will be able to burn SPS for DEC. That's going to be a really big deal here at Splinterlands.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Actually, I didn't know that was going live at the same time. So that's fantastic. That's really exciting.
Both are going live at the same time. Right now, we're still like 2 weeks, 3 weeks out, I think. So really hoping to hit it before the end of the month. But if not, definitely going to hit it early September. We also have, Yes, Aggie.
Well, just so has that been like a gigantic project, a small project? Because I feel like we just did some rank rewards, and now we're like right back in the saddle again, doing more. And then once this is done, do you feel like we're like still tweaking this whole thing a lot, and there's a lot of more rewards work to do, or do you feel like it's pretty settled, or just after this next set of changes, what do you think comes next?
So There's a bunch of stuff for SPS, all kind tied into creating value that the community we've been talking about for a long time. What's really exciting is that so going back, let me back up. Ranked Rewards has been a project we released the first kind of phase of that earlier this year. We did a whole rework of how you earn rewards in the game, seasonal chests, how you earn daily chests. So we've been constantly iterating on that over the last 2 months, I believe. So been really great. And what we've been doing is using all the data. So we've been deploying stuff out there, running a run in production, watching the data, and then adjusting. And that's why we kind of say we've been doing rank rewards updates, because we've been tuning the whole system and optimizing the economy. I think we're probably we're starting to feel better and better about it every week as we see the data. It seems to be more tuned to what we're trying to get out of it. So very excited about that. But these big pieces are also coming up, which is what we just talked about, is switching over to SPS for ranked rewards. That's a huge deal for the economy. And it's one of the things that happened after our airdrop, which just ended us recently. So it was one of the things we had to wait until the airdrop ended to really switch over. We're trying to do, and it's kind of a big deal too, because you're looking at when we switch to ranked rewards, it's going to be a fixed SPS pool. Instead of the DEC was more of an unlimited inflation, whereas the SPS is going to be a fixed amount, and that's based on our white paper. So if you guys want to know more details, jump into the white paper and you can really read about it.
Yeah. So do you remember how much DEC we were minting every single season or something? Do you have a ballpark number in your head?
It was a lot. I don't have it off the top of my head. I don't want to say a number because then somebody will hold it to me. So it was a decent amount, but
yeah, I remember. And now with the sort of all of that ending, it's something like an 80% drop in the distribution of DEC. So that to me is kind of just flat out crazy. And then the second piece that comes to mind is that much SPS that's going to go out, I think it's something like $562,000 per month. That's a lot of rewards. I don't know about you guys, but just playing card games and earning $560,000, that feels like a big deal. I mean, I don't know what other people think, but that seems like a lot of money. And in this case, it's really tied to how good is your card collection. And so if you're just swimming in bronze, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from being in bronze. We all got to start somewhere. We all got to learn the levels. But the majority of the rewards are in the upper tiers. And then there's also fewer people fighting for them in the upper tiers. So Gene Pool is saying, I don't know if this is quite right, but it's $210,000 a month or so that was coming out in DEC. So that sounds about right, and it sounds like we're more than doubling the amount of prizes that are going to happen in this game, sometime this month. And then what you're earning once you get that SPS, the only way that you can really get DEC is by burning SPS. That sounds like a crazy innovation for what we're doing. This doesn't feel like just a little change to me. This feels like a pretty massive overhaul of the economy, doubling rewards and making SPS burnable for DEC. That's crazy.
Oh, it's awesome. We're really excited about it. And what's even more exciting about it is that we're also currently actively working on the SPS governance first phase of that, which will allow all the staking holders of SPS to vote on proposals that we post. So we're going to get the community and the owners of SPS involved in making decisions for the game going forward, which is really exciting.
And so do you know what the first ones that we're going to ask about are? Is this making stake to feedback.splinterlands.com, or is this precursor to, do you want to vote on the next Splinterlands hard fork? What level are we talking about in terms of what's going to go live for user voting?
So day one, it's going to be proposals put up by Splinterlands. They're not going to be user-generated proposals, or they will be indirect user-generated proposals. And there'll be ones that we're going to be highly curating. So we have a list of things that are coming up that we have specific questions for the community and how we want to get to it. And when we have those, we wanted to circulate it to these SPS stakeholders instead of us just making it as a company. And I think that's really exciting. But as with anything, this is very different for us, and we're kind of tiptoeing into it. So we're going to start small and then work up to bigger and bigger questions over time.
Okay, so we have, damn it, I lost the image. We have the rank rewards. We have, Here, there it is. Land and the sort of non-card market that seems to be on the list. There's some stuff with like validators going on. We got like a ton of stuff. What else is on your brain for like how development is rolling out?
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
It is really like, I think the team feels like everything is going. We have so many projects in flight in parallel that we just have stuff hitting every Tuesday. Actually, that's one of the things that we changed recently. I just mentioned that is we really are doing. We went from Tuesday, Thursday to just Tuesday, and Thursday is our patches. So really, what we're trying to target is all new big releases on Tuesdays, and then we have a backup to fix little tweaks and adjust things on Thursdays. The real goal for our company is that the team that works behind here, we have a sane schedule. And when we were doing releases on Thursday, then people were fixing things over the weekend, and we don't want to do that to our staff. So really excited about that. So you guys will definitely be seeing us align a lot of our big releases around a Tuesday schedule.
Okay, so we have rank rewards. We have the Tuesday schedule. Anything you want to talk about for like land and kind of like the rollout there?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're closing fast in on some of the couple of core foundational pieces for land, which is the tech modernization, where we're redoing a lot of what's in the app bar on the site. So these are like purchasing SPS, purchasing deck, purchasing, sorry, blanking on that.
Credits.
Credits. Thank you. I was like, I'm staring at it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It's a big part of our business, those credits.
But yeah, so all those, when you click on the plus button on those to buy them through our third parties, we're redoing those screens, and there's kind of, you're not going to see a lot of change for an end user perspective, but from the back end for us, it's a much more supportable technology, and that's what we want to build land in. And that when we build a foundation that we can be more involve more developers, as we've grown over the last year, which is huge. We need to have the code be able to support that many developers, and so that's one of the big initiatives here, so we can get land going full tilt. The non-card market is really exciting.
I kept getting the sense that like if we tried to make a change in one area of the site, it would necessarily involve and impact other areas of the site. So when we're talking about like tech modernization, it's really about kind of like siloing that piece of code to limit it to just that one change or just that one feature. And that way, like, what does this button do, rather than explain what the whole page does and it's in a relation to everything. Now it's like, okay, just code what that damn button does. And that way we're not like stepping on each other's toes every time that we want to like tweak something. Did I describe that accurately?
Yeah, I mean, when are you going to start coding for us, Aggie? That's what I want to know. I mean, if you're at that level of understanding, you might as well start writing code.
Given that I'm not even in the product meetings, I think it's pretty good that I can describe these things as well as I have. But that's like 6 years of helping to go run like software projects in blockchain. Awesome. Okay, so it sounds like I get the land tech modernization. We also have the non-card market. I think you were about to talk about I feel like we're close on that. What's left to do, and what are we going to notice when it goes live?
So, man, everybody, I'm excited about non-card market because it'll be the first time we're able to sell and buy packs between players on our site. So that's something that's only been traditionally done, either tokenizing it to Wax or doing it through Peak Monster. I think Peak can do it. No, Peak does Tribal Decks. Yes, Tribal Decks or one of the other sites. So those will be the first time you can just natively do it on our site, which is really exciting. It also allows people. The reason we kind of categorize this under the land thing is it really allows people to buy and sell the land claim plots, the regions, the tracks. And so that allows us to have a little more liquid of a market as we move in, as it starts ramping up. So that's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to casually buying some land plots over the next 6 months. So it's a key piece of it.
And there's like a whole
casual purchasing, right? Casual.
Yeah, there's a whole SBS award system that has to go live for land too. So I know that in the airdrop we distributed just a ton of SBS to the region holders. That's not the end of it. I don't think that everything has been decided, but last I checked, there was like 3 or 5 million SPS that it's going to go out per month to the landholders. So, some of those guys that are like, I'll just get rid of my land, it's useless now that the airdrop is over. They're like people that just don't understand that there's a whole 5-year distribution that still has to happen for land. So just keep that in mind as you consider what you want to buy, what you want to sell that may or may not be valuable.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, and and even when I know a lot of people are like, lawn card market boring. You know, they're like, hey, I just want to know when real land is going. Well, we're actively working on land right now, phase 1. So that's it's kind of, we're locking in all the final details on exactly what that looks like, and we'll start probably teasing out what we've been working on. And in concert with that, we've got Splinterfest coming up in October. So the team has a lot of, there's some energy going on in the company right now to get ready for that. And one of the exciting things Nate and I have been talking about is talking about land more detailed at Splinterfest. So if you guys are really excited about land, you know, be stay tuned, because when we get to Splinterfest, you guys are going to get a little bit more of it, a lot more detail. And we're really targeting still Q4 for that first phase of land. But as we kind of move forward, it's a growing project. So that will shift around based on the team we have and the resources available and the complexity of the project. But it's underway. We're working hard on it, and Splinterfest is being hard. We're hard working on that one too. So very excited about both of those. And let's talk about Rift Watchers. We got Rift Watchers. Oh, so I just want to say we're really excited about Rift Watchers, and the team is closing in.
It's so gorgeous. Nate and Co has done such an amazing job. It is gorgeous.
It is exciting. And we're going to be, I don't know if I can say this out loud, but I'm going to say it out loud. I think Rift Watchers is probably going to go up for sale, pack sales probably next month. So stay tuned on that. I don't think we have exact dates, but you guys know it's imminent. We're in the imminent closure on that going live for people to buy packs. And I think what people are going to see is we're going to allow you to buy packs first, and then the opening of the packs will come a little bit later. So we're going to be timing those. There's a lot of work, so we're starting to chunk it out and get it out into your guys' hand as soon as possible.
And that's going to require some vouchers too, right? Like that's tied in. I think that's.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything on that. I'm going to let Matt. I'm not going to get in trouble. I'm going to say when we might deliver something. I'm going to let Matt say that stuff.
Okay. The last time Matt came on here, he talked about how Rift Watchers pack sale is likely to go the same way that Chaos Legion pack sale went, in that there's going to be a period of time where vouchers are absolutely required, and that'll be for kind of your first set of packs. Then they'll go to the sort of like, if you want bonus packs, you're going to have to go burn some vouchers to go get extra packs. So if you are one of the guys that's getting a whole bunch of vouchers and just punting them, that's fine, but you won't be allowed to go get that first set of Rift Watchers packs if you've been tossing them aside this entire time.
Yeah, and since we're throwing shout outs, Stever82 asked, is there a promo card? I think there is, isn't
there?
Yeah.
There is. So there's just like in Chaos Legion, there'll be like a Dr. Blight style promo card. And what I mean by that is that it's a promo that only the first purchasers are going to be able to get. The people that come after, it's not like an airdrop card where for like the rest of the pack cycle, you'll be able to get it. It's only the first purchasers that are going to be able to go get this card. So, that's really like the true limited edition, promo card. And, it hasn't been finally decided, but I can just share that some of what I've heard about it, it sounds pretty freaking neat. So I don't want to give the whole thing away, but if you like being awesome, you might want to get some Rift Watchers packs, and that would include Rift Watchers packs early, which means you're going to need some vouchers. So in case,
I think that's a really important thing that people keep asking us about vouchers. They're like, "How do I use my vouchers? What can I use them on?" And we're like, "It's coming. It's coming. Vouchers is a real thing, and you're gonna see a lot of things popping up for vouchers in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to see a lot more utility for vouchers over that a little bit as we release some of these newer projects.
And we kind of have this gigantic project that's still ongoing called the SBS Validators. Anything you want to just share about validators in general? Have we shelved that project? Did we complete it? Are we mid-flight? Like what the hell is it, and where are we?
So validators. SPS Validators, private. So we broke it into 3 pieces: private net, test net, and public net, or main net. And the private net is what we've deployed the exact same code that we're planning on launching to the public to run distributed. We're running it internally right now. And that piece just got shipped just recently. That was a huge achievement for us. I was very excited for the team to reach that milestone, because that was basically like, hey, we got this running. And right now we're watching it and we're tuning it and we're doing fixes on it. And then the next phase that we're kind of rolling into, which we have a lot of work on, is getting it out into the public and making sure it's hardened, allowing people to work with us and test it. It won't be running real transactions, but it'll be running simulated transactions so we can see the effectiveness of the security, seeing how it works, making sure it works properly. And then finally, which I think is really coming next year, is when we go full live with this, where people have full validators distributed as all of SPS, its balances, managed balances on the Hive network will be run by these validators, and it'll be very exciting to see them go live next year. Which we did a lot. We have license sales, so if you are interested in getting in on that, you can check out our shop. And you can look at our licenses for that. There are even right now, if you own licenses, you're earning right now crypto, because we got vouchers are being paid out to all the holders of.
Do you know when are we doing the live rewards for SPS? Is that this month or is that next?
I believe it's very soon. I think it's by the end of August or September. So we're definitely in. I want to say we're, unless Matt sees a reason through the economy details of us to push it. I think it's within a 6 to 8 week time frame of us of doing that.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I've been stacking up on licenses. You know, I like the decentralization of this game. I think is awesome. You know, having been a witness for a while, I feel like I can go run one of these witness nodes, and if it's anything like running a witness node, it's not going to be that bad. You know, you have to read some guides, and you're going to have to get familiar with poking away at some servers. But my hope is that companies like Privix and others will actually just have your sort of like Splinterlands nodes in a box, and you'll be able to just buy and set up one of these nodes and put in your account keys, and off it goes, and it should just run pretty smoothly in the back end. Maybe the first couple of versions of this have it's a little bit more manual than that, and we're all going to have to figure out how to tweak it a bit. But the Splinterlands witness boxes, or the Hive witness boxes, and now Hive Engine witness boxes have been around for a while. So I feel like there's some good technology that we can rely on in thinking about how we want to do this. So hopefully, the guys that are running these, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, and absolutely. It's going to be exciting. I think we're going to put a lot of commitment into trying to make those things easy to set up, easy to run, and make them be awesome for the whole community. And you'll see us do what we normally do, which is iterate on it and keep improving them over time.
So right now, what do you feel the most fire under your feet for? Like in this company, from me or Matt or anybody else, like where are you feeling the pressure of the burn? Like what are you the most hyped about trying to get out, or the most concerned about getting out, or just like the highest priority on your piece? What is it?
Well, there's things I can't talk about that I'm very, very excited about.
That's awesome.
Which you and me were talking about for several hours the other day. So
yeah.
I'm that's where my I'm on. Everybody's like, why is there smoke coming from it? They were doing things here. But the things that we can talk about, I'm really hyped about the SPS rewards changes coming to ranked rewards. I think, and then being able to burn SPS for deck, and that combination, that 1-2 punch, allows us to kind of turn deck and SPS into kind of a stable coin. So deck becomes the stable coin for in-game purchases. And I think one of the important things, and I can definitely say this for those of you out there, you're like, why does that matter? We don't want our assets to become super ridiculously expensive. So we're trying to make sure that as we go over time, that we really have an in-game currency that's very stable. We don't want, it to become $100,000 to get into our game. We want you guys to get in, and a lot of the new players to come in and enjoy the game. So this is a big piece of it, to allow us to have this kind of relationship between the deck being spent for in-game assets and SPS being burned for deck. So there's a little bit of a relationship there. It's an amazing combo that helps get deck to the peg that it should be at using our products.
Awesome. I want to talk to Nate, but are there other things that we should talk about that I haven't thought to ask, or anything else you want to share at a high level here, Hardpoint?
More to come. We had our really exciting announcement about Genesis Sports League last week, and that was amazing to be able to finally talk about it. I mean, we've been working on that since late last year, so it was great to be able to finally get that public. So if you guys haven't heard about Splinterlands and our Genesis Sport League, our partnership with the MLSPA, very, very excited about that. Finally be able to talk about it, guys, and there'll be so much more to talk about that. There'll be airdrops going to our Splinterlands stakers, our SPS stakers, and so very excited about that. More details to come. That actually, honestly, I guess that's one of the things that, we announce this stuff and we quickly move on, but I think people it's so big. It's so
Yeah.
big for our company and what's happening. And I like even I know we'll probably touch on this a little bit more later, but just seeing what's being developed for it is freaking exciting. I think anybody that's been involved, is even if you're not a sports fan, which I'm not as much as a sports fan, but man, I just had this actually the game we're building has me really interested to jump in and play it. So very excited about that.
There's a couple game modes across this company that I'm pretty excited about. So yeah, we need to get Carry On or maybe High Thumb or both, and they can go sort of talk about where they're at or some of their initial thoughts on that.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, thank you, Hardpoint. That's a great sort of summary of where we're at. And the dev team is doing such an incredible job juggling 10 different projects simultaneously. It's kind of they're building in blockchain. It's sort of like repairing a battleship mid-flight or like repairing a spaceship mid-flight. You can't just like stop the thing. You gotta like tweak it as you go and improve it as you go. And being in the space for a long time, it's really hard. So kudos to the team for keeping as many things juggled, and really appreciate the work that you guys do.
Yeah,
And
I'll throw out one other thing real quick before you move on. Ape of Wall Street asked, "Do we have an update on the Splinterlands arcade game?" The update is that we have a concept that we like. The Wizard team is going to be reviewing the concept, decide whether to green light it or not. So we'll be talking about that. And if we do green light it, then we'll be talking about it publicly soon. So there's the update. It's pretty exciting. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Been working on it for a while.
yeah, do we say what type of game it is publicly yet, or is it just Splinterlands Arcade?
Well, the arcade is going to be, if we do what we want to do with it, the arcade will actually have multiple games.
But this first one, have we said what type of game it is?
I think it's been accidentally leaked, so I'll go ahead and say it's a tower defense. It's a tower defense game.
Nice. There you go. There's a little alpha for the people.
Yeah, so a little teaser for you. But yeah, so we're gonna sit down and make sure that the concept that we've put together really aligns with Splinterland's long-term goals. So there's still a chance it could get cut on the cutting room floor, but I really hope not. I've been personally heavily involved with it for the last couple of months, so I'm really excited to be able to actually show you guys what we've been working on, show you what's coming, and if it doesn't get cut, it'll be pretty fun to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, every time I'm on an airplane, I spend like 2 hours playing balloons. Like tower defense games are fun. They're just fun. Yeah. I don't know that I would spend every single minute of my life playing them, but if you get to earn with them, like imagine playing balloons and you're making money, and you like own these cards and you're making money. That sounds like fun to me. So, all right, awesome. Thank you, sir. So, everything that Hardpoint and that team is doing is pretty awesome. And really almost none of it would be possible if it weren't for the creative team that supports all of those projects. Nate, I imagine that you're feeling a little bit of the burn, having 10 different projects that are simultaneously being worked on. What's the fire that's lit under you? What seems to be the highest priority? What are you guys working on? And just kind of tell me what's up in the creative department.
No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so much of what Hardpoint was going over is stuff that the creative team is just. I'm in meetings all day at every single meeting. What's funny is when I say I'm in meetings all day, you envision these meetings with suits and corporate table and kind of stuffy, and you're kind of falling asleep and you're listening to numbers. And I've been very honored. I feel very blessed in that almost all my meetings are fun. It's usually looking at this cool art, the cool animation, or let's make tweaks here, or a narrative team meeting gets to talk about all these storylines and the depth to certain characters, and let's do this and let's do that, and most of the time it's just just having fun all day long, and a lot of these projects that we talk about, I think it was touched upon just a little bit ago, that there's just so much. I think when we come in these town halls and the community hears, we're working on this, we're working on this, we're working on this, we're working on this. I'm surprised to hear now and then when people say, well, when's this coming? Well, crap date. What are you talking about? We just released this, and this. It's kind of but that's fine, and it's 2022. Sticking something in the microwave for longer than 10 seconds is oh my God, hurry. So I get it.
In their defense, we've been talking about land for a while. So it's like
No,
18 months to
absolutely.
2 years. So like, okay, land, we can get ribbed a little bit, and we deserve that. But just to be clear, it's not like we've been punting off this stupid thing forever. It's like, oh God, here once we get into these projects, there's so much stuff that we have to do. And some of that is development, some of that is like pre-development, like the non-card market, that you can't sell cards and like land and all this other stuff if that thing isn't up to date. I know that's been annoying, but I just hope that people recognize that it's not like a land exists where land is not. It's like, here's all the things that we've been doing to get it ready. So and we want it to be awesome, right? Like, do you feel like the land project that we're working on, it's going to be some stupid dud, and here's the land, you asked for it fast, and this is what you get? Like there was that project where like the art was so freaking terrible. It was like Kenny or Kyle art, where like people were like, I paid millions of dollars and I got what looks like a fourth grader drew it. Like, is that what this is going to be, or what do you think this will look like, or what do you think our experience will be?
Absolutely. And what's great about this is that, I mean, there's two things I want to say. The first thing is that even though, it sounds like I'm not complaining at all. In fact, I would say that if you're listening to this or you're watching this, understand that the team loves to spoil the community with updates and with upgrading the production quality and adding better, better tokenomics and better everything. Like, that is something, because we are players ourselves. So when we're in these meetings and we're talking about like, oh, we could do this and we could do this, we could do this, we're thinking so we could freaking play the game too. Yeah. So we could also benefit. So it's a really cool dynamic where that is the case, where the team members are just as excited for the launch and the release, and we want it to hurry up and come fast too. So it's
like creates a problem when you're like, win land yourself. You're like, I got to make sure land gets done because I got to play land. Like, it gets to the attitude of like, the community is like, when is this going to be done? And I'm like, well, we already have our internal staff yelling at each other about getting it done. So you guys don't have to worry. Everybody's like, come on, let's get this shit done.
Yeah,
absolutely. All right. So, Nate, any eye candy you want to share this week, or anything that, anything that you're working on that's real close that you want to give just a little alpha about?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me see. Let me start you guys off nice and easy. I know that Wild Modern, it's been a while since you guys had that placed into the game. Just know that on the creative side, we're chipping away little by little at what we want Wild Modern to actually look like. Because what you saw for phase 1, that's actually not creative's vision for the ultimate promised land of what we want you guys to experience on a daily basis. That was us MVP mode, just trying to get it out there. So, here's like, for instance, here's a concept sketch for, things we have planned for, like, this is for the wild side of things. If you, whether it is the background or the animations or the transitions or celebrating, unlocking the next league as you go up the ladder, that kind of thing. Here's a couple of concepts for the wild side of things. These are just sketches, but it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in our head in terms of what we want the user to feel like. We want you guys to feel like battle mages. We don't want you guys to feel like, oh, I'm just at the computer and whatever. No. We want you to feel more and more immersed every time we release something cool into the game. And I think that, as we share how, let me see, I guess we can talk about Rift Watchers. As we talk about that transition into Rift Watchers, it's a big deal on the creative side right now. If you guys are asking, well, when's the Rift Watchers going to happen? Like Aggie and Richard already said, we don't have a specific date, but I will say this. This week, our goal on the creative side is to try as hard as possible to have the final assets over and done with in our rearview mirror by end of this week, which means that the devs will literally have everything that they need in order to execute. And the thing is, it doesn't take the devs nearly as long to execute and implement as it does for creative to kind of like create all these assets, right? So I don't foresee it taken that much longer once the devs have what they need. And we're probably going to get them the pre-sale stuff sooner rather than later. Probably not even till the end of the week. Probably in the next 24, 48 hours. We're hoping that devs will have what they need in order to implement pre-sale. That involves.
I want to pause there for a second, because what you just said is so freaking accurate, and it's not what I would have expected, right? So when I started working in this field, and I thought about like development of something, I figured it would be something like 10% art and 90% development. And I don't think I could have been more wrong. I think it's so much of this really comes down to like, how well designed is it up front? And so what you really need to do is put in all this work up front to make sure that the design of how it would operate in terms of what it would look like and how it would operate in terms of the number on the back end are set and really well designed. And you're sort of like, your rule book, your guide, your white paper, your whatever is like solid as solid can be. And then once that's done, which is kind of like a pen and paper or Excel sheet kind of thing, then you need all these creative assets built around it. And that's like a labor of love, and like takes sweet time. Each card is not like a 10-minute experience. Those things might take hours or days to kind of put together. And then you get to the end and you're like, okay, I have all of these assets. I have all of this plan. I have, all the different screens and what the transitions will look like. And you're like, please, Mr. Dev, will you please go patch all this stuff together so it works? And my experience now is that it's something, if I needed to ballpark a new project, I'd think, 40% of it is in the design, and 40% of it, maybe 50% is really in that creative. And then it's like 10 or 20% is sitting in the development, if I think about all the man hours or the people hours that went into this. So that's just like a ballpark. So, nobody crush my head with a stone for just thinking about it that way. But it takes a lot of work from all these different teams and all these different parties. And it's not just, hey, Matt, when are you going to code it? It's like, hey, product owner, when are you going to have the entire plan ready? And then, hey, creative dude, when are you going to have all the images done? And then you get to be like, hey, dev, when are you going to ship all that code? And there's a lot that goes into all of this. And I think you just shared that from your perspective. And I just want to say, thanks for pointing that out. And I think there's so much work on the creative plate, and you guys get so much done. It's really awesome. So kudos to you, kudos to your team. And, and just the production quality, like you're saying, has been going up. It's like, I just remember thinking about, I'm going to make these alpha cards. Don't they look cool? And like, I go back and it's like, Uncle Aggie, the hillbilly, was the guy like trying to figure out what this would look like. And the more that you've just had free reign, the more gorgeous it gets. And I'm grateful for that.
No, for sure. And you're spot on in that, finding the right people on the creative side has been absolutely just a game changer. And as you said, creating the assets, like just look at Rift Watchers. I mean, Roy, our UX designer, sitting there trying to figure out, wait a minute, what's the functionality? What's different about what we did before? How are we going to do this and that? And then more and more, as we hand off to the UI design, it becomes a really collaborative team effort as we try to figure out, as we create the desktop designs, we're like, okay, well, before we hand off, wait a minute, how is this going to respond? Like if this goes to a smaller screen, does everything break? Are we transitioning well so that it does respond well, and that kind of ties into the tech modernization, all that kind of stuff. But it requires quite a bit of design, and then once you identify, well, okay, here's the components and the functionality. How do we make this look cool? And so you got background artists, environment artists, character artists, you got animators, you got narrative and the backdrop of lore and the copy and everything else. There's so many people involved in just bringing that single page to life. And I'm very grateful for not only how much the team puts up with me, but also just how talented they are. And they're all very passionate.
Do you have any other things that you want to show us that they've put together? I still want some more candy.
Okay. Since we've been talking about Rift Watchers, I'll share here. How about a pack? You guys want to see what the pack looks like?
Yeah.
We're going to call them Rift Gems. How about that? So we had, what do we have? Essence Orbs. Then we had Asmir Dice. Now we got Rift Gems. And
Nice.
And I want you guys to think about these gems as kind of like I'm only going to give you a very high level idea of the lore, because I don't want to spoil anything with the narrative team and all the stories been written every week. But at a high level, imagine this group, this not necessarily a secret society, but these guerrilla fighters from somewhere else who have somehow found a way to take crystallized mana. Because understand, the Splinterlands is ground zero for high concentrations of mana, but other places in the other planes of existence, other worlds, other universes, other parts of reality, magic is not so prevalent. And so in order to make magic work, they take this crystallized mana and use some kind of technomancy to create stuff. So this knowledge, this technology is soon going to be introduced into the Splinterlands. And I think the pack kind of like supports this. So here is a Rift Gem. So enjoy that. And then
I want to see it open. I want to see it open. I'm just staring at this thing being like, why won't you open, damn it? Let me see it. Open.
Actually, as we get closer, I will share the pack opening, and I will tell you it is probably the best pack opening seen to date. It is pretty freaking cool. I hope that it makes people want to open one pack at a time, just so that they can experience this cool new animation that's going to be introduced with Rift Watchers. While you wait for that, in some future town hall coming up, I will say, let's take a look at, well, Richard likes wallpapers. So I'm going to share with you.
Yes, please.
Let's take a look at the Rift Watchers logo. If I have any say in it, I think they just hit it out of the park. So here is the Rift Watchers logo.
Nice.
In the form of a wallpaper. And if you guys are kind of like, well, Nate, I want to see the scene behind the logo, don't worry. Here is another wallpaper that really celebrates the talent and passion of the narrative team and the story that they're bringing to life, and the art team and what they're doing to make it happen. It's just beautiful. And this is one of many backgrounds, which I'm going to share over the next few town halls. So don't worry, there's more.
But wait, there's more.
Oh my gosh, that's so freaking cool. Definitely one of my favorite backgrounds right there.
Yeah.
Nate, I think that's up there. I think one of my favorite backgrounds is the one right now behind me, which is the dragon destroying the town. And I think this is now my second favorite one. Although there are so many that I love. You guys do such a great job in art. It's just amazing when you guys put out these great, background screens. It's like almost just love just having those on my background, period. And even if I didn't play the game, they're so beautiful.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
I like this little shift to like technomancy. Prior to you talking about Rift Watchers, I don't think I would have been thinking about like airships in the Splinterlands, but just seeing more of that like technomancy, steampunk vibe to this. I've always liked that sort of genre because it to me, like you have these terrible wealth. What is it? The like curve for wealth is just so extreme these days, and yet you haven't seen it. Like even if you go back to like feudal England, like the wealth distribution wasn't as bad. And I feel like steampunk really tries to capture that. You'll see like the above city, and it's this grand place, and you see the undercity, and it's always this grimy place where all the plebs live. And there's parts of that just like feel raw to me. Because it's like, okay, the wealth discrepancy in this world is just so drastic. So I like moving down this path and seeing like, you can just imagine some kid in the slums looking up at these giant airships going through these massive portals, and how awesome that looks and how unattainable that feels. And to me, this is sort of what this game is meant to be fighting back against, of like, how do we make sure that every person in every country and every land has some opportunity to not just stare at that portal from afar, but like figure out a way to captain one of those vessels. And that's what I work towards every day. And so like I feel like this Rift Watcher stuff is really is pulling at that.
No, it's definitely going to add a lot of. I don't know. I don't want to give too much away right now at this town hall, but there is. It's going to be cool. There's going to be. I get more and more excited every time we sit down and discuss the potential of what Rift Watchers is going to lead into. Not just how it leads into the next big, expansion and next year and all that stuff, but how it's going to impact and have a ripple effect in, you know, a lot of different things on the website and the game in general, right now. Maybe even potentially leading into land. There's all kinds of. It's going to be cool. I think people are really going to enjoy that aspect of things. So
Sweet.
no, yeah.
Anything? So this is great. Anything else you'd like to share and give us sneak peeks on? And I do have to talk to some of the other folks, but no, I think there's time for one more eye candy if you feel like it, or there's something else you'd like to share. Then whatever's your priority.
Sure. Just for fun, I guess I could share another Riftwatch character. Let me see.
Let's do it.
Here's the sketch phase. I've been enjoying doing that, showing the concept and sketch phase, and then showing the final render. So this is the sketch for a death character known as the Night Ghoul. So the Night Ghoul is creepy and scary, and kind of gruesome, sort of like the cursed Wendigo. This guy's story is pretty morbid too. He came from before the Chaos Legion crossed over. They found this creature, and it's kind of like, they tortured it and stuck this gem in its eyeball to give it these enhanced abilities. And basically it's always in this berserker rage mode. So it's a pretty terrifying character. Let me find here's the finished artwork for it. So there you go. So let that haunt your dreams.
Yeah. That when I said that this stuff looks awesome, I mean, I don't know. That looks like that just looks so high quality and like detailed. And can we put up like an alpha card next to that? Can we just think for a moment about where this game started and where we're at now? Because there's nothing like looking at the alphas to make you be like, oh, it seems like we've come a certain difference.
No, for sure. I mean, when you look at the talent and how well the art is now, that's a big part of that is our art lead, Madi, who has really taken a hand and really, like, we just had an art team meeting where he went over some principles of design and art and color theory and stuff that was just mind-blowing, and everyone was like, whoa, yes, that will definitely improve this or improve that. And every week we're looking to grow and get better and better and better as a team. But when you look at stuff like that, you think, yeah, I mean, I could easily imagine that on the cover of a Marvel or a DC comic. I can easily see that that elevation of production quality and on a lot of what people consider to be, gold standard for, a really good game or publication or company or whatever. So I think that, we're getting there for sure.
Yeah, that Ghoul could be like a standalone comic where like, some of our alpha art, just like it's great for what it was, but it's not at that same level or really even close. I don't know. You guys are killing it. Thanks for putting this together. Shout out to all the guys like Sketchy Gamer Guy and Ryan and Mark Jason. Hey to Rainy. Hey girl. We got Danger Bald. So many people. Fat Jimmy. It's great to see you guys in here. Thanks for communicating with us and sharing your thoughts and feels along the way. No, I don't know. Bulldog or WeirdBeard, either of you dying to go next? Anybody like feeling the urge?
I mean, I would.
All right, do it. He called it. He slotted himself in. Tell what's going on. What WeirdBeard? Who are you? What do you do? And what's going on in your world?
Hi, my name's WeirdBeard. I handle tournaments and brawls and esports and all kinds of really cool stuff. First, before I talk about the thing, I will say, so we've been experiencing kind of a bug with some tournaments right now. The team's aware of it, where it causes certain battles to flee or sometimes go into a surrender or a draw. People are aware of that. It is being investigated. It's a bug. We got to root it out. Cool. Now let's talk about the fun stuff. So I have been hinting at something for what feels like, I'm getting nervous talking about this. I feel like we've been hinting at this for a few months now. But I can finally confirm, because it's going out in patch notes tomorrow, that the Splinterlands Open tournaments, which is like just it's I don't want to call it a ghost card tournament because everybody will get confused, but we are going to finally be rolling out ghost card tournaments, which means that we are going to have tournaments that you're able to make it so that all players that enter into this tournament get access to the exact same cards across everybody, no matter which ones you own.
Now, why does that matter? Who is that important to, and why is it such a big deal?
There's a lot of people that it's very important to. It's one of the most requested things, especially when I walked into this position where people wanted to talk about. But it's two things, right? There's the players and then what we can do with it as a marketing outreach tool, right? Like it's not it's fun, but we can talk about the players real quick. There are a lot of players who want to be able to talk and play a skill-based game sometimes. There are players who are down at bronze that whip ass. Like they are nasty, mean, and they're good at the game. And they sometimes are always like, oh, I wish I had access to these cards. I wish we were able to do this. This makes it so that there will always still exist the tournaments that we're going to be doing, which, are now. They're the high rollers. You own the cards. You're able to go in and compete with that. But at other times, sometimes it's nice to see who's really good. You know what I mean? Who knows the game. And when we talk about ghost card tournaments, we're not just talking about entry level tournaments, right? We can make these to where they're a champion level gold foil deck. Everybody gets access to maxed out cards and can play with the coolest things that they want. Other times we could go and do a gold level tournament to be able to just open it up and have people go in there and compete and see, like, maybe I'm a silver player who wants to see what gold is like. You can go up and do that now. But
it's just I just want to emphasize, like, those leagues and playing at those leagues are so different.
yes,
It's been a little bit since I've been like a hardcore Splinterlands gamer. I rent out a lot of my cards, but like, back in the day when I was playing all the freaking time, like I would go play champion and I'd have all these abilities, and then I'd be like, all right, I'll go play this game at bronze. Let's go see how this goes. I have no idea what any of these cards do, and like, there's no clear sense of like, how do I build a strategy around this? Like, all of the abilities and all the things that I'm used to just aren't here. And so not only is this like a real skill game, but I feel like it ends up being, test of skill at each one of these different levels. And I imagine that we're not going to see the same winners recurring at each. I think you'll find that like the same guy that's awesome at bronze is going to be winning a lot of bronze, but that doesn't give them any advantage in silver or any advantage in gold. And the guy that has been winning in champion over and over and over again, there's nothing that tells me, oh, they're just going to nail it in the bronze tournaments. That's not how it works. You're like, welcome. You're like, welcome to hell.
Yeah,
this is my turf.
It also makes it to where like players can kind of decide, because we'll have a two-pronged kind of esports scene, right? Like, not only will you have the game of skill, but you'll have the high rollers. They come in with their decks that are worth as much, and they go, I own these. I have beaten you with the things that I have. You are deficient to me. Like, there's those both kinds of competition is different to different people, but it makes it so that we don't have to always be trying to balance a scale the entire time. You know what I mean? Because people want this, other people want this. Well, now we have two forms of tournaments. But the other thing I talked about outside of just the player base itself, this allows us to not only be able to do tournaments like this, do big esports activations with it, but it also makes it to where you can go and, like, if we were to talk to somebody like Ali Straza, right? The streamer who's been doing Splinterlands content recently from Hearthstone. Now we can make it to where we can do tournaments with a streamer like that, because you wouldn't want a streamer to get on stream and be like, hello audience, we are doing a tournament, but you can't enter into any of this unless you go spend all this money and do all these things. Like, it makes it hard to approach new communities. This gives us an entry point to brand new players who maybe just come in. All they need is a spell book to be able to enter into these things. And it makes it so that now they go, hey, I don't know anything about this game. It looks fun. It looks cool. Let me try it. Let me jump in and see what we're able to do with this. We're also able. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are there fees for the tournaments? Are there prizes for the tournaments? How does that look and how does that work?
So there are obviously prizings that go along with it. The fees I don't want to talk about because that's an economy team thing, and I can't confirm that. But what I can say is that we're going to be rolling them out with just Splinterlands created ones for right now. But that's because we're trying to make it. We still want people to purchase cards, right? Like we still, the tournaments that are gonna like be there, you have to own the cards for right now. But these ghost card tournaments are going to be the things that we're able to use on a case by case basis, such as Splinterfest, where people are going to be able to enter into 2 different ghost card tournaments if you're physically at the tournament. So if you're at Splinterfest, you know, you're going to be the first people to play in this, which is really cool.
Yeah, you guys probably want to go to Splinterfest. I mean, I don't want to tell you what to do, but I can tell you it'll be awesome.
Like it's because I think the biggest thing is this is the dev team getting under the hood for tournaments. You know what I mean? One of the times that like it's hard to like pull these devs away from obviously the 20 projects that we've talked about that have been rolling out today, but it just shows that like it's hitting cylinders, and now we have people under the hood going, ooh, maybe we could do this while we're here. Oh, maybe we can finish this, like working up on streamer mode that we've talked about for a while now. And it's even the ghost card tournaments as they roll out currently aren't the final version of it, because right now we're going to be able to do it to where we pick like foil of the cards and league levels. Eventually we'd love to be able to do it to where we can do ban lists. Maybe we do a tournament where we just go, you know what, I don't like Jotun today, no Jotuns in any of this tournament. Or we're able to go and specify, hey, we want every match to be a Death Splinter match, and be able to play around with that, because then all of a sudden people are playing with cards that they never have before. You know, they may have gone, death sucks, I don't want to touch it, don't bring it near me. And all of a sudden you put them in a ghost card tournament where they run wild with those cards. The next thing they want to do is go out and either rent or buy them, because they go, these are my cards now. Like exploration is the number one way to get players to grow in this game, because they get to see everything that's out there.
Yeah, I mean, this really strikes me as another huge development. And what also pleases me, kind of like what you're saying, is like, go look at the roadmap. There's nowhere on there that Ghost Card Tournaments is, and Hardpoint and Go are just like, yeah, we'll fit that in. We'll just redesign how we do tournaments. That's fine. We'll just do it as a side project, and we won't even announce that we're working on it. I mean, like, you know, in some ways I want a little bit more transparency, but, you know, honestly, whatever. It's like, how did these guys even get this damn thing done? Yeah. You know, they literally have like 10 different projects that are running simultaneously, and they were like, you know what, we really have to do more.
I mean, come on, guys. You know we're doing way more what's on that roadmap. We are even doing more than we'd even talk about. You guys know that this is like a team that's just crushing it in the background. It's just, we have to, you know, we only have limited time and space to talk about this stuff. And literally this year, if you go look at what we've actually released, hundreds of bug fixes. Literally. And then people are like, oh, like what? Yeah, like we've been killing it. The dev team is just knocking it out of the park. And we're trying to get all these features in when we can do little stuff like this. Like, and we say little stuff, right? It's a big deal to the economy. But for us, it's not like we have to boot up a whole huge team to get it done. It's just a matter of getting it in the priority at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it too is it's I was challenged a few weeks back by Hardpoint, and he was like, because I'm like, hey man, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And it's a lot of, you know, I was challenged, what can you do that's not just dev related? Because there's all kinds of dev projects that we have and that I've requested and that are being worked on. And there's all these things, but it's also the small stuff of like going out and doing these town halls and getting more people interested in tournaments, you know, shaking hands and kissing babies, being a politician for tournaments itself. And ghost cards are going to allow you to do something like that, because it's, you know, again, I see it as an accelerator for players to where now that this is done, we need to not just do it and have it out there. It's funneling new players in there that they don't get stuck in just bronze. You know what I mean? They get to experience what gold is like, and they want to go up that level to that. Or, you know, people who are scared of gold foil tournaments, like they just don't want to enter into them and they're terrified of them. This is a way for them to experience that. And all of a sudden now they want to build their collection. They want to get interested and understand what they need to be doing. Like,
you might have to fight Too Curious. And then you're going to be terrified of like, how this guy's been here forever. His deck is amazing. Is there any chance I'll ever beat him? And probably not, but you know, shout out to Too Curious for being here.
Yeah. And it's like, the last thing I really want to say too, is with this, a lot of people talk about needing a better kind of like new player entry point, right? Like sometimes you hit that wall when you first get into the game, and it's getting over that and keeping those players for longer and trying to avoid burn of like new players getting in and gone in 2 weeks. Making ghost card tournaments available will help so much, because just that one hit of dopamine is like massive, right? It's the dragon you chase for a long time after that, to where like you're a new player, you've been struggling, you get in, and all of a sudden you do well. When you have access to these cards, you kind of know what's happening. Like that's going to be, I think, really beneficial to new players.
Yeah, rock on. We're glad you're here. Glad you're talking to all the people. You know, I used to be able to do so much more of that, and like just take feedback and take like, you know, metaphorical punches to the face about our product all the time, and like this is what they want, and this is how they want it to work. And there's just so many moving parts. I can't sit and chat all day long anymore. And so I'm thankful that there are folks like you and folks like Bulldog that are here to take feedback and here to be advocates for them. I mean, anybody that's listening should be able to hear in an instant that like WeirdBeard is not here pushing some personal agenda or some other kind of crap like that. His goal is finding out what you guys want and then figuring out a way to make sure that it happens internally. And like that's hard, and he's been doing an amazing job. So I'm just so impressed with you. Thank you for being here, and I'm grateful that you choose to swim in this pond and work with our community. So thank you.
Hey, and just again, in like the next week or two, we are going to be announcing Splinterfest, the tournaments, and how people can enter and what's going to be happening. Please make sure to check out for more updates soon, and get ready for the Splinterfest tickets, because it's going to be scary cool.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Ape of Wall Street, Dante, Icy Flow, Taug. Been here forever. There's a bunch of folks that just make up this community and are kind of its lifeblood. And I'm grateful that you guys are here. All right. Bulldog, have I saved the best for last? What's going on these days? Tell me about the community. Where are we at? What projects are you working on? And what are you stoked about?
Yeah, I didn't think this through too much. Following up a WeirdBeard with that announcement, I should have gone first.
But
You
gotta get in quick. You gotta get in quick.
Took me too long to unmute my mic. So I'm Bulldog. I'm community manager here. You guys have probably seen me around the Discord, on YouTube, Twitch, things like that. Helping out new players, helping out guilds, those types of things. Been doing some work for the community with the new Genesis League coming up, so that's been a big project recently. So things like that, and of course I help manage the feedback side as well. So that's kind of why I'm on here today, to bring up some of those topics and kind of relay some of this to the team. Although the team's already seen a lot of this, they read through all of it. There are a bunch of things on feedback.splinterlands.com where if you have any suggestions, you can go submit your feedback there. And we've pulled a few of those just to talk about on the town hall. Just because we didn't pull one out doesn't mean we don't see it or that type of thing. We see everything there. But there are some that I thought would be good to kind of go through and discuss. So I think we're going to do that here. So we'll kind of start out with an easy one. Here, I guess a shorter one here. So one of the suggestions was to set SPS so that you can automatically claim and restake your SPS. So basically, instead of having to go in and claim it every day and then restake it, it just automatically generates as staked SPS. So
we love this idea. It's just a little bit more challenging to implement technically on the backside for us, which it's why it's been sitting kind of down. There's a bunch of different nuances to it that people don't realize on our technical side. So that's why it's kind of been sitting there for a while. But we do love this idea, and I know the community really is excited about it. And in fact, one of the things I can point out is that with ranked rewards changing over to SPS, you're in fact going to get staked rewards right away. Like it's going to be staked. So that's kind of cool. So it's going to jump straight to that with ranked rewards.
So every time you win a match, you're going to get SPS, and then that SPS is going to earn you SPS because it's immediately staked.
It's amazing.
Like that's killer.
Yeah, your money makes money right away.
Yeah.
Next second, that literally you win a battle, and your next second, your money is making you money. What a crazy world we live in.
That's like Kevin Leary, who's often on Shark Tank. We'll talk about stuff of like you don't have emotions. Your money is like little soldiers, and they have to run out into the world and get you more money. That's like profit and how we earn and how we have nice things. This game just moved another like inch towards that or keeping going in that direction. I think it's great.
All right, up next we get a bunch of requests to improve guild features or add more guild tools So like a couple of them that I brought up here is having card pools for the guild where people can donate to them, and then those can be like guild members can request to have them, or they can be assigned to people for different brawls or whatever the case is. We're having things like auto guild donations where, so I guess DEC is going to be leaving battles, but you can have like a percentage of your DEC gets distributed to the guild for the guild donation or whatever the case is. So one group of players isn't funding all the buildings for the guild.
No, I think one of the let me go back. I think you asked said something earlier. I want to address this at kind of a do we read feedback.splinterlands.com? The answer is yes. Is there a lot of ideas in there? Yes. Do all those ideas have tentacles into the economy, into card design, game design, player engagement? Yes. So it means that when people are like, why didn't they implement my idea? It's probably because your idea like touched on something that we're either working on, building, or tweaking, and you threw out an idea that would change everything we've been trying to get done in there. So it's not that we don't want your idea, because your idea spawns ideas. So one of the things that we do is we read those things and we get like, oh, that's an amazing idea, but we have to tweak it in some way so it's not exactly the same idea, but it really spawns the creativity of the team. And that's one of the reasons we love hearing from you guys and sharing with us your ideas. Even if they're not exactly implemented the way you suggest them, they're always spawning thoughts on the team, because the team does care about community feedback. But specifically on these two things, I love them. I think you're going to see this type of stuff hitting for Splinterlands with improving the way the guild system works, and especially with donations and with card pools. Definitely possibilities. And we haven't sat down and said yes, but we're saying yes to the fact that as we grow and get mature, you're going to see more and more features kind of get built out for guilds.
I'd love to see stuff like that be like, oh, you need to get the guild bank if you want to be able to go have that auto feature, and you want like a stable for cards for all your monsters. You need some sort of like literal stable. That would be another guild building where like, you don't just automatically get 5,000 cards you can delegate however the hell you please. Like it's got to be like a building that you create, that you upkeep, and that burns DEC. Because that's how we all have nice things.
Well, I will say it's funny to hear this feedback suggestion, because it's something that when did I make? I think I made the UI for the pooling the card function like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah,
maybe longer.
Yeah,
it's been a while since I made that UI. But yeah, I think that was supposed to be a guild building or something. There was some technical challenges, and there were also some economic challenges with implementing it. So that idea kind of like went on a shelf, and we went a different direction. But who's to say that, if we revisit it and let's look at this again, but with different angle and more eyeballs on it, maybe we can figure out how to make it work in the future.
Yeah. All right. Bulldog, any other? I think I got to keep moving on. We have a couple people to get introduced to. Anything else that you'd like to add in, bring up, or just talk about?
I mean, we've got a few more we can bring up, but if you want to move on, we can save it from another day. So it's up to you on how much time you want to spend on it.
Yeah, let's do one more, and then if you want to go, talk to Ron and come back on, and let's go through the other ones. No reason to not, if there's feedback that the players want, let's make sure that we're airing it out publicly and hearing from people and talking about what we're considering adding to the game and giving that a voice. But there's only so much per town hall that I can do. So let's do one more and then come back on and talk about the other ones that are on your brain.
All right, we'll jump down to the last one I sent out on the list. That is definitely one of the most common things we see. Adding a PvE campaign we're basically, I mean, there's different ways you can do it, but like one way would be to have like preset teams out there where you go up and you have to, and instead of trying to guess what your opponent is, just kind of as a way to teach new players the game. Okay, you go to this level and you have to beat this team, and then you go on to another level and you have to beat a completely different team, and kind of get to learn strategies and how to do that without having to also trying to predict your opponent or that type of thing, or play against some of these bots down in bronze that can be pretty good.
So if I can point out something interesting about this request, is a lot of it is about players being able to choose what kind of deck they have and not having to own it. So guess what we just talked about early in the stream? Ghost card tournaments. So in a lot of ways, subtly, We're going to be allowing players to start learning how to play with cards that they don't own and get excited about ownership and figure out an ownership path for them that works without having to own it. And I think that's what a lot of people are looking through under this idea. And that's where when I see these kind of ideas come up, it's really, I ask myself a hard question whenever I see a suggestion. I try to say, is the suggestion itself what they want? Or is there something they're trying to get at me to do to help them? And I think that's where the really challenges are. A lot of everybody hits the same idea in a different direction. Like, how do I learn how to play this game? How do I do it where I don't have to put $10,000 down to have all these cards that I'm not sure whether I need? Well, guess what? This specific feature is directly tied into the ghost card tournaments. And you guys will see, I mean, PvE, as far as that's concerned, there is stuff that's being discussed. I'm not going to go deep into that because it's out there. We're talking about it, but something maybe in the future you'll hear. Aggie, any other thoughts on that?
Boss fights. I want boss fights. I bought a boss fight myself. I love the idea, and but we got to make sure that the game operates and can scale and grow. And I know everybody is like land and boss fights. If you're going to pick on Splinterlands for two things, those are probably two of the best ones, right? Because we promised boss fights 3 years ago and land 2 years ago. So if you want to be like, you guys haven't delivered on stuff, those would be the top two. But getting to the point where you can do PvE, it's not like we've ignored every single part of this. It's just that all of these things take all these other parts of development, and being able to go play in a ghost card tournament where now we can set your deck to this certain thing. Well, that's probably going to be useful in that solo quest, and the solo quest should probably end in one tier of boss fight. So it's not, I know some of the players are like, you guys have done nothing in this regards and we hate your face because of it. But hopefully the players are understanding that what we've really been doing is laying the groundwork. It takes years to go do that in some of these cases. And as we get closer, we'll actually be able to roll out the features that we promised. And, I think in those two particular cases, land and boss fights, I think we underestimated just how much stuff would have to go into it. And I wouldn't want somebody to think they don't care and they're not building it. I hope that you're seeing as these features are rolling out, when we get to boss fights, you're going to be like, oh, well, here's some ghost card stuff, and here's some modern stuff, and here's some, giant tournament and functionality stuff. And all of these things are less of they've done nothing and more of they built all the precursors that they needed, and it took time.
Well, it's not just that. I would say that we could talk all day long about all the potential that land has for other forms of gameplay and PvE and stuff. But even if you bring it down to its most basic component, the low-hanging fruit, which is, well, can't you guys just make a better tutorial? Can't you just add phases to the tutorial and save steps and add some depth to the tutorial, so it's not just a really quick few minutes and then you're done? It's like it holds you by the hand and takes you on this journey. And it's yes, we would love to do that. But as Matt likes to say whenever he's on the town hall, it's well, guys, we're literally as far as all the economics and the gameplay and the mechanics, and you guys realize how fast we're changing stuff almost every other week. We're tweaking and we're changing, and and that's difficult for me as a creative, because I want to put out this amazing polished stuff, and I want to put all this work in, time and resources into just making this amazing thing. But it's if every time I make some that takes months, and we're there it is, but while we were producing the assets to make this thing, well, we changed the DPS to SPS rewards now, we did this and we did that, and suddenly all the UI design we did to make it all beautiful and polished is obsolete now, because we're just changing that rapidly. But once things settle down a little more, it gets easier to say, okay, let's go back and really flesh out an amazing tutorial experience, because we for sure want to do that.
Yeah. And those are the joys. And when I talk about this is very much like building, fixing a battleship as you're sailing it. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We're how do you build an amazing tutorial when the next week you're changing the rank rewards payouts? Play this match and you'll earn DEC. Never mind, you're going to earn SPS. But if you wanted to, you could burn that SPS for DEC. And then a month later, they're okay, well, now here's how this other feature works. And to your point, we just keep changing things. So, all right, Bulldog, thanks for bringing the news and views from the community up to light. The feedback that they're talking about, for Nate and for Hardpoint, thanks for considering the things that are coming out of the community, and glad to see things that are like the ghost card tournaments. That was not something that Matt or I said at any point. This is what needs to happen. That's exactly what the players said. This is what we want. And we carve out part of our development time, not just to build what we want, but we want to make sure that we're building what this community wants. That's part of having a distributed game, the first of its kind, like truly decentralized game. And between the validator nodes and the governance and just how all this stuff is happening, we're trying to get to the world's first decentralized game. That's the mission. And I don't know if you know it, but Bitcoin was really like the world's first decentralized currency. And think about how awesome that's been for this planet, this world, to have that kind of functionality built. I think if we can take that to gamification and take the lessons that we've learned in Bitcoin and bring it out to yet another layer with a whole bunch of utility and backed by entertainment, this is just like a world-changing event. And that might feel like a big thing to be saying because it's just a video game on the one hand, but on the other hand, this is really about an economic platform that everybody can go participate in, from the smallest minnow to the biggest whale. And I think that's why the values that are inherent in cryptocurrency are what enables this game to change so many lives. So thanks to the team here. I think I have two folks that I want to go introduce. The first is a support person. He's been here. I don't even know how long, but I know that he's been in the community like forever. So I want to go welcome Khan. And he's not a Star Trek fan, but I don't know if you guys know the movie Wrath of Khan. But basically, anytime that there's been a reference to him in the game or in work or whatever, I'm generally shouting Khan in my life. So Khan, welcome to the show. Who are you? What do you do? And how long have you been part of Splinterlands?
Thank you, Aggie. It's been really exciting to be here. And I just hit 1 year. So I joined like last August, maybe when like things started heating up after SPS launch. So it's been a 1 year and great journey. So I'm Khan and I'm from Pakistan, Asia. And I have been in support for 1 year. And I've been part of now financial team, which is called Gringotts, the visiting bank, where we deal with all the issues people face with like transfers or bridges, or if they purchase something, it miss out and all that stuff. And other than that, we also try to build automations and procedures and all that stuff so that we can build out things easily instead of like every ticket we have to solve manually. And the cool thing support has been doing is support guides, so which we have been building a lot for a while. And we recently just hit about 250 articles on that. So
Wow.
That's what we have been doing.
Yeah, you guys, the support team's been killing it. And like, I remember a year ago where Matt and I are like, kind of almost caught like deer in the headlights and like not even knowing how to go handle all this growth. And I remember you coming on board and it made an impact for, just getting tickets, even addressed, whether or not we could even solve it at the time. You just want to know that there's somebody on the other end that's been like, hey, here's a problem I'm experiencing. Is somebody looking at it? And that somebody was you. And, I just want to thank you for being here. And not just thank you for being here, but thank you for being here after all of that and what we had to go through as a company for the growing pains. So, thanks for sticking it out, and thanks for helping to lead that team and make our support, leaner, meaner, and be able to help our community even faster.
Yep, it's been great. And I just wanted to share the experience as well. So 1 year ago, it was like there was a ticket coming in and a guy has to like read through the ticket and there were like no attributes to the ticket and something like that. So we were just trying to randomly answer questions and all that stuff. But right now, we have built a whole procedure and system where when you create a ticket, there's an answer board that will look for help guide articles and auto shoot to the customer that this is things, does it help you? And that like really filter out a lot of communication. And then we have built up like 4 teams to the support. They're like looking at different things. So the first thing after the answer board you hit is the live agent team that interacts you with a live thing, and they try to collect all the information that we have about the issue and try to help you out. And if it is like a specialized issue, then it got routed to either financial team or account management team based on are you having like finance issues or some account management like keys or something like that. And then we really have a special team that is known as Racket Squad that try to break up things before they like, so that we can help build procedures. So instead of like customers breaking things for us, we go and try to like break those tools and then try to build up those systems within support so that we can address things as quick as possible. And a really good example for that is liquidity pools. So as like liquidity pools were launched, it was like really exciting and everyone was excited. And then we like identified 5 to 6 issues that were like solved within next 48 hours with the help of dev team and support and all that stuff. So that's what we have been doing. And a lot of stuff have been happening through automations. So instead of like resource dependent and human dependent, we have been like trying to build out all these problem solving skills so then we can automate most of the stuff and have people more focus on community and help them and guide them through this journey.
Yeah, you've been great at it, and support team has been killing it. So kudos to you. Thank you for being here. I want to shout Khan one more time, so that's going to happen. But is there anything you'd like to add, before I move on to the last guest of the show?
Yeah, I just wanted to finish up that it's been really exciting that the company culture have been like really diverse. You see a lot of people around the world, and then everyone is passionate about the game and building on it. So that's really adds up to the value that whole team brought up into these products. So thank you, community. Thank you, everyone.
All right, I
I'm
gotta
really
shout.
excited about this stuff.
I'm gonna move my mic a little bit ways because we're gonna kind of recreate the scene like it's deep, lost in space. So you might want to like turn down your volume or something because I'm about to shout Khan. But this is for you, buddy. Khan! Yeah.
Wow.
Sorry if that was terrible for anybody. But I did give full notice. So anyways, Khan, you're awesome. Thanks for being here. And really just kudos, not only on like handling the problem as it happened, but solving it and making it better along the way. Thanks for all your work making Splinterlands support in particular like a much smoother process than it used to be.
It's been my pleasure and really exciting. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. All right. So I guess I thought this was just one, but I believe this to be a married couple. So anyways, here's let's go bring the team on from DorianR. Are you guys there?
We are, yes. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Yeah, coming in loud and clear. So who's on the line? Who am I talking to? And what do you guys do?
Surprise, 2 guest special here. We are a husband and wife team on the creative side under Nate. I am Scott.
And I am Ashley. Yeah,
And
we are neighbors. So, we take care of creating the cards everyone plays. We write stories for the Tome of Chaos, our big epic fantasy storyline. And we are work together with everything. They hired us on as a team, and it's been a lot of fun.
And so what were you guys doing before you got here? Like, what were you working as a married couple on creative storylines before? Were you in different gigs, or like, what did it look like before you got here?
Yeah, before Nate hired us, we were both co-authors of a fantasy series called Thread of Souls, a series of books. And we also wrote a lot of supplemental stuff for D&D 5e that was sold online.
Nice.
And Nate website and did a conversation.
Yeah, and we still write the books as well. But when Nate sent up that call and that email and that voice chat, we were like, yeah, sure, this sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's still on my list of like, I'd love to have like a Warhammer 40K style game. I'd love to have like a D&D miniatures kind of game. I'd love for players to be able to sort of like take a Pathfinder like rule book, which is an open source version of D&D, mostly around edition 3, and be able to go take something like that, adapt it for Splinterlands players, and be able to go summon monsters and have your favorite heroes and live as a battle mage in Praetoria and sort of go on, level 1 mining expeditions and killing all the, exploding rats, and then also going like deep into the bowels of, you know, the Praetorian volcano and kill yourself a Lord of Darkness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something we're both down for.
Yeah, so that's part of my hope. I'd also love to see like just a series of books. You know, you know, I like the tome of Jared Scar and hearing about that player and seeing videos about it. But just like, to me, you know, one of the things that's so important about the like creative side of this is that people fall in love with the characters. You know, and you know, the more fan fiction that we can generate, the more actual like official fiction that we can generate, the more that we can get players to fall in love with the like heroic efforts, the scandalous deeds, the you know, series of horrible events, and you know, even just the like you know, what's the astrology of the world, and what are the marriage ceremonies, and you know, all the kind of like weird things that we get to create from scratch. And you know, the people that can fall in love with this. You know, I want to go to Splinterlands Island and stay at the Splinterlands Hotel where, you know, I'm greeted by, you know, a couple mermaids or something. Like, how do I want to have all of that fantasy out there, and you know, I'm glad that you guys are helping to create it. As you create it, like what are the sort of like high priority things for you, or both in terms of like types of things that we're trying to get out into the world, but also just like thematically, what are you trying to bake into the Splinterlands lore that you create?
Yeah, our biggest focus right now has been on developing Pretoria and all the lore behind it, all the way down to the different cultures of settlements, up into like these great mountain ranges and different passes that people might travel through and what monsters live there. It's definitely been a very high priority right now, is really diving deep into that. And it's been good fun. It should, you know, start to be reflected on the cards that are released, the stories that are released, and, you know, any projects in the future.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I kind of want to talk back to what you talked on, you know, seeing these characters. What really drove me to want to write more is I actually focus on the cards more, and I'm like, what would be a cool story to follow this specific arc? You know, how could you have the lore of, you know, like 4 or 5 characters, but then how could you expand that more? And what do they see? What do they experience?
Yeah, as both, you know, storytellers, we're lovers of characters. And so we would like to focus on what's this character's individual story and how do they see the world. And it's been really good fun to write things from their perspectives.
Are you baking in any common themes into the story arc? Is it like 100%, you know, let's take characters one at a time, or do you feel like there's common elements or common things that we want to like bake into these kind of stories, and how we portray the world and character arcs of the story in general?
Yeah, I
And
think
before you answer that, I just want to celebrate the most well-known characters that I'm sure the readers have fallen in love with another wallpaper. So here are some of the characters that if you read the lore, you'll know who these people are. But yeah, carry on.
yes, one of, you know, a thing I always like personally as a storyteller and a reader is finding characters that aren't necessarily special in their own right. They're not, you know, royal, they're not already great, you know, heroes. They're just regular people, and seeing them rise to these challenges and end up fighting great evil like the Chaos Legion are stories that I always have really enjoyed. So it's been fun to follow people like Fia, the pirate's daughter, someone who comes from very little and is finding herself on this grand adventure facing, you know, really terrible darkness.
Yeah, along with that, it's like you know, there's that quote of like, there's only one time that you can actually be brave, and that's when you're genuinely afraid, right? So like, you know, you want to talk about these characters that do these heroic things, but you know, the swashbuckler that just dives in and kicks ass all the time, like that could feel like the much more human story of like, you know, poor Jimmy had to go suffer through this thing, and even though they were terrified, something in them drew out a will in order to make them pursue greatness, even though it was hard, difficult, challenging, or scary. And that bravery is not something inherent just to like a noble, tough man knight. it's like, holy crap, anybody that has to go do something that is, generating, distinct fear, anxiety in them, that's bravery. And the more that we can pull that out of just even common stories of common times and make it accessible to all of our characters, and thus to all the people that are seeing themselves in those characters, I feel like that's a great story arc to pull from, and a good, that's how we make our players fall in love with our characters.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at time. I wanted to give you guys a little bit more time, but unfortunately I got to go hop into both the Splinterlands TV stuff, but then we have the preset questions. Is there anything you guys want to leave us with? Any anecdotes of being married and working together that might be funny, or just anything about working at the Splinterlands, or dreams for the content you write? I really want to keep it pretty open-ended and gave a couple suggestions, but whatever you guys want to talk about, here's a chance to just share with our community what matters to you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely speaking from a couple who's married, who's done this for many, many years, wrote many books, many D&D supplements, and now working for Splinterlands. We're at our year mark, I believe,
Splinterlands
now, and it's so interesting to bounce back and forth ideas off of each other, but then also to have our own separate ideas and have each other read over them and give feedback as well from the other team members. But there's something really uniquely special about working with your spouse or your partner that just makes the day even more exponentially better. And especially doing it for a company as great as Splinterlands. I'm always happy to sign on and just be like, hey, what do we get to do today? What cards do we get to create today? What stories do we get to tell? It's really fun.
Wow, I didn't realize it's been a year. That's crazy. These guys were the first members of the narrative team, by the way. So they if you go back to the earliest stories of Tome of Chaos, they were there writing those things. I think my favorite one was The Messenger.
That was good fun.
Yeah. I mean, we have two of our stories are coming up.
Yes.
We have a really big one on Rift Watchers.
Descent is coming up soon, as well as Dethrone.
Dethrone was a very different take for me. I like writing light and happy stuff, and this is very opposite of that.
Nice. Certainly as these things come out, we'll try to spread them out into the world. If as those things are released, you need a moment to talk about them and what inspired you, and share individual things about the lore that's coming out to talk about it. We should be doing that too. But generally, I just want to thank you for your efforts, and I know that the lore that's coming out is some of the most compelling stuff that we've had, and glad to have you guys sharing stories and bringing our characters to life. That's what we need for folks to fall in love, and I'm glad that you guys are here doing it. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having it.
All right. So now, I have a call that starts in 30 minutes. So I'm going to have a hard stop. So I've backed myself into a little bit of a corner. We have to go do Splinterlands TV stuff, and then after that, we have to do the town hall questions. The question list is pretty short, but hopefully Hardpoint and I can get through those pretty quickly. In the meantime, though, let's go do Splinterlands TV. It looks like it. So, Rondon, were you able to get a shout out in your own Splinterlands TV world? Are you the Rondon?
No, that's not me. No, it actually was me. I just wanted to burn through my channel points that I had accumulating and show somebody else what, kind of encourage other people to do it. And that was just like, and it also, we can get into the weeds or whatever a little bit here, but I know we don't have much time. Just basically, we've had a couple of problems where, it's 54 people sharing one channel. Sometimes they click mark all as complete. And when they do that, then I lose all the town hall shout outs, and I have to go back and trudge through the activity feed and find them. So me seeing that there, I knew that from that point on, is where the town hall shout outs started.
So I'm still, that is you though?
That is me. Yeah. So.
Okay. And that's like a marker. Okay. I'm just looking at this list. Maybe you can post it in the chat, but it has the Rondon first. But even though, you're worthy of a shout out, Ron, having put together like all Splinterlands TV, that's a heroic effort. And the 54 freaking shows they have to manage. It's a lot. Now, first and foremost, we have Bootops here. So I don't know if you guys know this, but he's a regular on basically every single show ever. This guy is probably our most adamant listener. So thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back on. And thanks for getting a bunch of different shout outs. It's actually, I know your name, I know who you are. And, I appreciate the time and effort you put into our community. So thank you. We have Sean Michael GT. I think that's a new name to the list. So great to see another person that's sort of like gathering enough channel points to be here. I haven't figured out if it's Lord or Lordo. I think it's just Lord. But if you need to correct me, please feel free. But shout out to the Lord or to Lord. And finally, Dragon, I think is how I pronounce that. But, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 legitimate and an honorary Rondon shout out. And these are people that are just putting in time and work in the streams. So I want to go high five those guys and just say, hey, thanks for watching Splinterlands TV, and glad to have you guys here.
Absolutely. Got to appreciate, like, those guys have just been putting in the work, watching all these streams, and it's much appreciated. So by the way, guys, I'm Rondon. I run Splinterlands TV. It's kind of a little thing that we're doing over there on Twitch where we're trying to put together 24/7 content. We're getting very close too. We're at 81% of the time now booked. And this is just absolutely amazing. We're taking applications tomorrow, guys. So for the people who have put in applications tonight or tomorrow morning, expect an email. We're going to be setting up interviews this week. So we're going to be booking even more shows, going to be more times put in, and hopefully we're going to get really close to 100%. Now, 100% is, I think, is going to be a very hard number to get, but, we're going to definitely push for it. We want 24/7, 7 days a week. Splinterlands content over on Twitch. I do want to give a couple of different things. So this week, we are not going to have a streamer spotlight. We're going to take a 1 week break, and we're going to be back bigger and better than ever the following week. We do have a clip of the week, though, for you guys this week. And then, you know what? This is one of my favorite clips. And I'll tell you why. Because Luthien, I don't know if you guys have catch Luthien streams, but she's kind of a bully. And she decided to come and bully one of our other streamers this week. And I don't know. He took it pretty well. Rogue Patton, he's a champ, and he takes these in stride as a true professional streamer would do. But you guys just got to check this out.
Obnoxious fumes. I think we're Luth. Oh no, Luth. It's okay. You can just beat me up without throwing stuff at my dead corpse. It's just leaves me like bloody on the curb and then throws dollar bills at me. Obnoxious fumes. I think we're Luth.
That's what happened. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna start it over again.
It's okay. You can just beat me up without throwing stuff at my dead corpse. It's just leaves me like bloody on the curb and then throws dollar bills at me. It's like, here you go. Thanks for the fight. I'm just like, you're welcome, Luke. See you again next week.
Yeah, so Luth beats people and then sends them cards as a... Anyway. No, guys, listen, Luthien is a sweetheart, and the streamers are absolutely great. Yes, go check out twitch.tv/Splinterlands TV. Go check out, or you can go watch it on Splinterlands TV. Go to splinterlands.tv/watch and go watch it there and chat there. Go to the, so we got a new feature on the Splinterlands TV website, by the way. If you go to the schedule, every single show will now have a link to their last replay. And it will not only go to the video, but it'll go to the timestamp of the video of that streamer's last stream. So make sure if you guys miss the show, you're in luck. Just go to splinterlands.tv/schedule, go to the person's name and click the link and you'll be able to catch it. So guys, that's
We're up to like 1,700 followers over there now too.
Yeah.
And I know that's small in the grand scheme of things, but you have to consider like the amount of watch time. How many hours is it? It's like 2 million minutes or 3 million minutes.
Yeah, we're up to 2 million minutes now.
I mean, that's just an enormous amount of content, an enormous amount of people engaging with us. It's not just 1,700 streamers. It's like, it's stories like people like Luthien that are out there engaging with our audience, and it's Bulldog engaging with our audience and answering questions and helping folks out. This isn't just like that. I know it's a small stream for now, but the amount of time and the amount of work that these streamers are doing is amazing. And the hardest part to grow a channel is like right at the beginning here. And to me, you guys are killing it in terms of like just getting more people and grinding it out. And that growth, it'll go from a little bit here and a little bit there to pretty soon, we'll be getting 1,700 streamers in a week. And then we'll be getting 17,000 streamers in a week. And just as this reach grows, I think that Splinterlands TV is just going to be a major part of how people learn about us and why they play us. So thank you.
Yeah, once we hit a critical threshold, it just starts snowballing. But we've seen this go from like at the beginning of this, it was like 10 to 20 people would show up to these shows, and then it's kind of grown to 15, 25. Now and then 20 to 30. Now it's you're normally expecting about 40 people per show, and then upwards of 60 people on a lot of these. And that's just kind of become normal now, to where, it just keeps steadily growing. More and more people are checking us out, which is helping the algorithm over there on Twitch to recommend it to more and more people. And guys, just keep on going over there, keep on supporting us, and it's going to keep on growing and reaching a broader and broader audience. But I know we're short on time, so I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much for having me on here, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I might have screwed up. I thought I had a little bit more time than I did. So we don't have like an infinite amount of time for questions. This is my fault. It's not anybody else's. I take ownership. But fortunately, we only have a page of preset questions. So I'm going to read these, and I think, some combination of me and the team will kind of battle our way through this. So, and I don't think, because I have a hard stop that is at the end of the hour, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get other questions in, and I apologize for that. I wanted to get some in, but maybe just one or two or something. Anyways, battle rewards. Will SPS and battle rewards be very RNG dependent with big home runs the way DEC is now? If so, how does that work with a fixed pool?
It's just division between the existing pool. So we have a set amount of SPS per every block, and then we just divide that by the total number of our shares per. So it's very similar to the existing system.
Yeah. So you still get the home runs, right? Like you still have like the gold foil legendary equivalent of getting SPS.
We have a number we use to help arbitrate it. So yes, it's a fixed pool, but you just get arbitrarily a bigger portion of the pool than other players if you hit a home run.
Yep. Will we receive a post with details on how SPS will be distributed before it goes live so that we have a chance to prepare, or will it just go live as soon as it's ready without a lot of warning?
We will definitely be posting stuff before we do anything economy. I mean, I'm pretty sure that 99% of the time we try to get a post live before we just go do something major with the economy.
All right, next up, Genesis League Soccer. Will GLS be an auto battler? If so, how much strategy will be involved? Is it more of a football simulation or more of a football themed card game? You want to take a shot at that? I'm happy to too as well.
I mean, so I'll throw my 2 cents. You can go for it too. Yeah. Auto battler, yes, it's going to be more of an auto battler. We're looking for quick sessions, quick, exciting, fast sections that involve sports. So it's definitely still going to be card game, but it's still going to be a lot more quick back and forth. We're looking for less than 3 to 5 minute sessions right now.
Yeah, we're not planning on like a lot of joystick games. I know other companies are doing them, but we currently think that it's really hard to validate those. And if we're going to be giving away prizes that are in the millions of dollars, we think you really ought to be able to validate them. So my hope is that over the next couple of years, that by the end of this decade, we'll be able to do joystick games and do them with validation and do it trustlessly. At the moment, I don't think the tech stack is ready for that. And the companies that are doing it, I think that they I think you can do them, but you are trusting the company to then be honest about who won. And I think that's dangerous in this world. So for now, I like games where you can verify the results, and we'll stick with those. How many packs will we need to buy to reach MAV status? That's a good question. I think I got to go talk to some of the people about that. I don't think it's been decided. Is there anything the team wishes they did differently with Splinterlands that they will adjust with GLS since they have a fresh start? Yeah, I'd like the scaling features to be figured out on day one instead of like DorianR growth. That year of our life and really like the 6 months. I know that Matt was going insane prior to Hardpoint being here and the other devs. There's a lot of lessons that we learned and we implemented a lot. So there's not like, brand new everything that we need to roll out and it's totally different. It's like taking the lessons that we learned and executing on day one. I think those are the big ones. Rift Watchers, will guild building discounts apply to Rift Watchers? Did we do that for orbs? I can't.
I think we'd have to ask Matt. I bet Matt knows right off the top of his head, so we can punt that one to next time.
I can't remember. I think we did do a discount. I think my answer was something like, you got to do the Bed Bath & Beyond model where you're like, here's the list price, but if you do the thing, now you get a discount. So my guess is that there'll be discounts, but I don't want to speak for Matt. Until the white paper's out, we don't know. Are there going to be any purchase limits or ways to meter the Rift Watcher presale to make it fair? Yeah, you better have some vouchers, homie. That's how this world works. Chaos was limited because there weren't enough vouchers for it to sell out. There are a lot more vouchers now and a lot fewer packs. There are fewer packs and there are fewer vouchers. It's possible that we're going to require more than one voucher per pack, but again, until the white paper's out, there's no way of seeing that. But even if it's like you need 1 million vouchers, 1 million vouchers is a lot. It's like a third of the supply. When we did Chaos Legion, we burned it was like 50% of the outstanding vouchers all got burned in the same day when we launched. It was amazing. I don't know. Maybe we'll do the same thing again. And we got to look at the economics on the ground at the time that we do this. But it's possible that it might require more than one voucher, and we'll leave that up to Matt to see what that looks like. Miscellaneous. If we purchase a VIP ticket to Splinterlands, can we use the 2K discount to get a free regular foil promo card instead of getting a gold foil? I don't think that's in the mix now. You probably have to go work with a buddy.
I think Matt told marketing. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're in marketing, but I think the consensus was that if you don't want the gold foil, you want to get the standard, that you'll get the same discount as anyone else. So it's not, you don't get a card for free. It's like you get, what is that, $300 off?
Yeah, you get discounts. Yeah, that's still a little TBD. Let's see what happens when the white paper for that comes out. That should be happening pretty soon because people got to book everything and we got to be clear about it. So, do you know when the Eventbrite stuff is happening in Hardpoint? Do you know when we get the Splinterlands ticket sales?
We're running as fast as hard as we can to get that out because we know we're closing in on that date, but we don't have an exact time frame yet. It's being pushed really hard. It's one of the dozen things that are running really fast right now.
Do you think it'll be by the end of the month, or do you think it's September?
No, I mean, that's what we're hoping. We'd really like to get out before the end of the month, and then if it's not after that, it's really like the team is actually very worried about that specific one. We want to get it out as soon as we can.
Yeah, good. Okay. Here's hoping it soon. But when that's out, all this stuff about how does it work and how do you get this and what does it do? It should be a lot more clear just because you'll be in the interface and you'll be able to look. And then will the Splinterlands DAO be given the power over land and validators, specifically in terms of increasing issuance and price points for validators, or is this fixed in stone? I think this stuff will come out in stages. Ultimately our goal is to give the players like 100% freedom to do what they want. But some of this is like limited by technical challenges. So, it's not entirely clear just yet what features will roll out when, but in the short term and tomorrow, will they have the power over land and validators? No. But in the long term, will they? Yes. And then where do we fall in that spectrum? I don't know. It kind of depends on all the other things that we're doing. And one of the hard parts of this is that validators in particular are totally undiscovered research and development. As far as I know, there's no other layer 2 blockchain that's really out there. The closest thing to that is something like Hive Engine or Tribal Dex. And I know that Matt's drawn some inspiration from how that works. But there's not really you might have 2,000 different layer 1s in out there, but you really don't have 2,000 layer 2s that you can kind of pick and pull from. So this is it's a little bit trickier and a little bit weirder. So all that I'm saying there is that in some cases, we can really estimate fairly easily how long is a project going to take. And the person that I think does that best in this company that I've interacted with so far is Cryptomancer. And he'll have a list of here are the different things that we'll have to build, here are the tests that we have to do, and he'll kind of give you the whole product list and then say, based on my experience, I think it'll take this, but we'll update you later in terms of how long is it actually taking. And he's really good at doing that. The challenge will be when you get to things like how long does it take to go build a layer 2 blockchain? Who knows? Like there's not 10 other projects that the devs have worked on that are layer 2 blockchains. So this thing really has a lot more wiggle room in the estimates than anything else. So I know that's a really long answer to that, but the validator stuff is far trickier and has a lot more R&D component than basically anything else that I think we're working on. Did I misspeak at all, Hardpoint? Does that resonate or no?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Like I said, we'll get your application for development up soon.
Sweet. All right, guys. Let's see. I know there might be some other questions out there. I think I can take like 2 questions. So if you guys have like just 1 or 2 questions, I'd be willing to go take one of them. Here's dishonesty. Let's stop there. Stop. All right, you guys are going to have to save these for later. Okay. Dishonesty is asking, will Ghost Card tournaments require KYC, staked SBS, entry fee payable, and vouchers? Can I bring multiple accounts?
As it stands right now, we're looking at doing KYC to keep bot accounts out. Again, this is a specific tournament. We're not looking at doing KYC for all tournaments in any sense. It's for ones because these are most likely going to have sponsors attached to them, which means that we have to be able to prove that people are real humans entering into them. And then staked SPS stuff, like I said, I don't want to talk about entry requirements quite yet because we're waiting until after Splinterfest to be able to even roll them out within the site. So unfortunately, it most likely no, but I don't want to commit to anything at the moment.
Given that non-con market will get here soon, when we'll be able to lock our non-card assets? That sounds like a big security question.
It's not going to come out with the non-card market. It is on the roadmap eventually to do, but it's not initially.
Why is a score-based game like soccer not a verifiable joystick game mode on the blockchain? Sorry, my tech savviness is low. It's because if you're doing something on a joystick game, trying to go get every movement that you make, every click that you make, every time that you make, and verifying every single one of those things happened is non-trivial. And simultaneously that the gameplay, if I were to play with your clicks and your moves and all the things that you do, it would play back exactly the same way every single time that I load the game. That's really tricky to do with this kind of technology. So I think it'll be doable. I just don't think it's doable now. And the people that tell you that it's doable now, thus far, I would be dubious of the claims. But maybe they have tech that works and they can verify everything. And there's possible that they're not verifying it. They're just telling you, here's what happened, here's a result. But in crypto land, I would be very skeptical of that because you don't know, did every rule process the right way? Did every click process the right way? Is everybody in agreement that the right outcome happened there? I don't know. That's just an odd set to me. Sahas, playing Champion League and even in Diamond League and Modern, most of the times is currently really a horrible experience. Often you have to wait 10 minutes plus to find a single battle. Making it to the leaderboard is currently not about being the most skilled player, but rather living in the time zone where you are so lucky that at least a few other players are online at the same time for battling you. Could you please implement some changes to the matchmaking for that reason? I guess for the time being, it would be mandatory to allow matching players with a bigger difference between their ranking points. Otherwise, modern format will not attract more players and the issues will persist or get worse. Any thoughts on that?
We are watching it. We are looking at ideas on how to improve that.
Matt said on the last town hall that having a higher percentage of the rewards going to direct battle rewards, since you have a more fixed pool there, should help balance out how many people are playing in wilds versus modern. So hopefully that'll help when that gets here.
That's a great feedback of like, well, what do you think doubling rewards for all the players that are participating will do? Like I imagine that's more incentive, and I imagine that it's more people playing, but we'll see. I got a handful more questions related to the SBS battle rewards. Will there be a scaling method used for how much SBS we need stake per account in order to earn? Yes, but it's not out. So there's no, I don't know. There's nothing fixed that I can tell you there yet. Lewis88 is asking, does the Splinterlands team come over to Highfest in Amsterdam in September 15th to the 18th? We're looking at it. Probably somebody will be over there. I'm not sure that my passport's up to date, so I'm a little bit perplexed if I can make it, especially since it's a month out, but we'll see. Can you provide any clarification on stake SBS for earning when that happens? If you don't have any staked SBS, will that remove all rewards, cards, merits, etc., or just SBS? Will there be a small percentage, 5 to 10% of the SBS earned for those who don't have staked SBS to help new players? So I don't think we're going live. When you do the SBS rank rewards, I don't think we have any stake requirements going live on like the very start of it, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, but I think we'll be implementing it over time. So this isn't a thing that's going to affect you in the next 2 weeks, but it might affect you in the next 2 months. So something to put your brain on that, like we've been saying forever, you're going to need SBS, you're going to need vouchers. You should expect that. So there you go. And then Zed is asking, is the Rift Watcher presale date still targeting the end of August? We mentioned that earlier in the show, but that's still right? We're thinking that the Rift Watcher is end of August for the presale?
No, it's going to be early September.
Early September. Okay.
Early September. Well, that's our optimistically, wildly. We love to hit this date. So I would love to see it, the first week of September. But honestly, it's probably going to be mid-September.
For Rift Watchers presale, would it be reasonable to have 1 voucher per pack and then 1 additional voucher if you want to include a roll on the promo card drop? That's sort of an interesting idea. Just like maybe you can spend extra vouchers just to try to get the promo card. I don't know. Something like that might happen. Anyways, I think that's all I have. I got 2 minutes left, and I have to get on another call. So I'm going to say thanks, everybody. This team is rocking it. The dev team is rocking it. The creative team is putting out the most beautiful content I've seen. Bulldog and WeirdBeard, thanks for interacting with this community. To Con, to the married couple, thanks everybody for helping and what you guys do. And it's great to get to meet new folks on the stream and get to know what who's here and what are we doing and why do we care about this so much. So anyways, it's an honor to serve. It's an honor to be able to help in this regard. And it's a real benefit to me that I get to go do this for my living and for my work. And hopefully, the time that we spend doing this is time that other people's lives are being improved through entertainment, through community building, through financial and economic opportunities. And I hope you guys are benefiting from everything that we're doing. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your community. And, thanks for being part of the Splinterlands, and we'll catch you again in Pretoria. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.